Welcome to part two. We're just waiting for Bob to log on. Women love him, men want to be him. Well, Bob's certainly giving it the big one tonight. He's doing well. Uh, People always ask me in emails what I think about Anthony Joshua. Well, the latest, obviously, is they're trying to wangle him a world title shot, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? But now he'll have to wait till September because they're now saying he's injured. It's just one story after another, isn't it? You see where I'm coming from? So, where's Bob? Oh, Bob will be back in 2 minutes. Okay. Let's have a quick run through the latest. A lot of talk, wasn't there, about this Parker Dubois fight. On the best ever show for ever and ever and ever they were going on about. Well, it didn't happen, did it? But after all that big hype, I want to know why. They just can't remake it. When you put all that PR into a show, there's a lot of work goes into them shows, all them interviews and emailing and people putting stuff on social media and everybody working as a group for each promotional company. Battering that fight. TV companies were battering it, promoters battered it. They were bigging it up to death. Parker against Dubois. What happened? All fell apart, didn't it, with 2 days to go? But there's no reshuffling of it, is there? Everybody's got going in a different direction. We could be having Del Boy, Dubois. We could be having Parker against somebody for WBO. What about Parker Usyk? It's a good fight. You all right, wasn't it, Parker Usyk? So I looked at it, but are we going to see Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua though? Is that where boxing's at? Jake Paul calling out Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hills saying it could happen. You can see it happening. Unreal. Welcome aboard, Bob. How are you?
Good man, good.
Women love you, men want to be you, Bob.
Is that right?
You see
Hey,
Paul
I just
Smig, part of the Smiths. Ladies and gentlemen, the Smiths. Well, Paul Smig's taking piss out Conor Benn on Talksport. Did you see it?
I saw that, yeah.
Go on, Smig. You'll make a fan of me again yet.
Hey, listen, I just saw your vacation pictures. Really good, man. Really nice. Really
Nice.
pleased you. Really pleased you had a good time.
Good man.
Yeah, everybody was missing you. Everybody, on the comment section, people were
Yeah,
saying, where's Porky? Where's Porky?
I know.
And yeah,
Well, anyway, I'm back now. Thank God. Paul Smith, I can understand him having a dig at Conor Benn. A lot of pros I speak to, ex-pros, managers, trainers, promoters, all want Conor Benn to get absolutely poleaxed against Eubank. They all think it's a joke. But I always say this to him. Why don't you post what you tell me on your social media?
yeah.
See where I'm coming from, Bob?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's all well and good, people in the industry speaking to you privately. But one of the disincentives for people to take drugs would be is if everybody came out and hung the leper's bell around their necks and sort of pointed the finger. That sort of public shaming would go a long way to disincentivize the taking of any kind of PED. Whereas today it seems that you take a PED, you get caught, you keep it on the low down for a while, you don't talk about it, nobody says anything, and then it all blows over and you come back. And it's all sort of like, oh, hush, hush, nobody wants to talk about it. I think it'd be better if everybody shone a light on it, which is what Chris Eubank Jr. is doing with Conor Benn. But all these other folks who were talking to you, if they all came out and said the same thing, it would tell trainers, managers, and upcoming fighters that, hey, look, if you do this, everybody in the community is going to be on you like just you're going to be hounded.
Yeah, fair play to you, Bank, for speaking out because we've got one plain villain, and he has to be villain now, and other one who's always been villain, because he walks into the ring strutting his stuff. He's now hero, isn't he?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
what sells fights.
it's a real turnaround, but it's all a narrative, of course, right? Too much of that going on.
Yeah, there isn't the Bob. There is. What do you make of what's going to happen to Wardley, and Caballel and Parker? Do you think they're going to not be in the mix
Well,
for the big fights? Because they look like they're kind of like being avoided. I think Dubois avoided Parker, mate.
oh yeah. Um,
Because if he hadn't avoided him and there was something wrong, why have they not rescheduled it? Why are they going in different directions? What happened to all the this is billed as the best fight out there on the best ever show, the show that collapsed.
yeah. Well,
Parker DeBar's not rescheduled, Bob. Shouldn't they be rescheduling it after spending all that PR on it?
they should reschedule. I mean, I said on a video I did that, Dubois may not have any like legal obligation, but he's got a moral obligation to give Parker the shot that he agreed to give to Parker. So either he's either he realized that Parker was a banana skin that could potentially sort of upset his career, or there was some other uh, reason why he pulled out. I'm not sure whether it's appropriate to speculate or not, but the fact is that there is rumors going around that Dubois may have failed a test, or that he didn't take a test. He's had time in Brazil, which even AJ alluded to as being something that was sort of incongruous. I don't know. And the fact that Dubois was then silent for 35 days after pulling out just fed all those rumors, right? None of us know. But it does seem that Dubois was not keen to fight Parker. If he reschedules Parker and he fights Parker and he can put this to rest, that'll go a long way to rehabilitating him in the eyes of many fans. But I think he's lost a lot of support based on his pulling out and then that silence, long silence.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know what? Wheeling out Dan fucking not Dan, Don Charles, wheeling him out at every opportunity to be PR man for them. Why can't they just wheel Fighter out? I mean, what's all that about, Bob?
Well, there's two interesting things there. Don Charles and, for that matter, Frank Warren both get really angry when even the slightest, easiest question is asked. So they are really bad at PR. But we live in a social media age. Daniel Dubois is of the social media generation. They have tons and tons of money. Why wouldn't they hire a real PR person who could have blanketed social media with all sorts of positive stories about Dubois? Everybody would have been happy, right? They could have hired some young, bright people who know how this works, just like politicians hire PR people. Like I'm shocked at how inept Team Dubois was. You've got the world heavyweight champion, email version thereof, absent from the public eye for 35 days, and you've got Don Charles and Frank Warren, and I think his dad on one occasion, and they all said slightly different things. The stories never matched.
Yeah, there'd been
Du-
no good in a court of law, would there?
Dubois he's a multi millionaire. Go hire a PR firm for God's sake and get somebody, telegenic, articulate out there in social media world and TV world explaining a story. 90% of people would have bought it and said, "Oh yes, poor fellow, maybe we should have a GoFundMe to buy him some new Kleenex or something." Like everybody would have been fine. This is amateur hour, like Keystone Cops level amateur hour, the way that Team Dubois has handled this. Can't believe it.
Yeah, they should have parachuted in Big Sam Allardyce.
Somebody who knew what they were doing, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
well,
Like this is,
Sam's jack of all trades, isn't he? Boxing, football,
yeah,
rugby. You just
yeah.
parachute him in and he gets you to sign 5-year deals. And then he gets you relegated after 12 months. Then you've got to pay him millions to leave.
Yeah. But you know
Parachute
what I'm,
Big Sam in. That's what they need, Team Dubois. Big Sam.
but you know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, he's like, do, mate. He's like the SAS, Sam. No, yeah. Look, Don Charles is not a PR man. All he does is play victim. Play victim.
yeah,
He's about as exciting as Big Mouth with his giant bins.
yeah.
Uh, but hey ho. Callum Smith against Anthony Yard. Boatsi against Yard. Are these fights going to happen?
I don't know. Maybe. Anthony Yard is a guy whose career has really, it's very hard to explain his career. Um, yeah, maybe. My question to you though is honestly, how popular would those fights be? Like, how much do people really want to see those fights?
I'd like to see Callum Smith, Anthony Yard.
Yeah. What
I'd
about
like to,
Boazzi?
I'd like to see Yard against Boatsi.
Yeah. Is that a like a widespread opinion in the UK? Because
Yeah,
these
I
these
think so. Amongst
yeah
hardcore fans, Callum Smith against Yard, because
yeah
Callum Smith just beat Boatsi. So why do we always
yeah
have to be talking rematches? Let's just get on to another one and let's see a couple
yeah.
of
That's a good.
different styles.
That's a fair point. You know, I guess Callum Smith has proven that he does have more in the tank. Um,
Yeah,
to be honest, I was expecting Boazzi to win that fight. I thought Callum
I was
Smith was.
only because Callum Smith, both at the peaks, think Callum Smith beats him, but he did beat him. But I think that Callum Smith, uh, his tools weren't sharp because he's not been active. Then one fight
Mhm.
every nearly a year or so, or 11 months or something. I thought his tools can't be sharp. No, so I picked Baratsi to win on points, but Callum Smith surprised everybody, didn't he?
Absolutely surprised me. I thought that Callum Smith was a little too long in the tooth, that the layoff hadn't helped. And also, to be honest with you, I thought Callum Smith might be suffering from the silk pajamas problem. He's had a great career, but no, he surprised me. So I guess he does have more in the tank. And Yard is a reasonable opponent, I suppose. It's. I'm not sure of its international appeal. Like I'm not sure of its appeal outside of the UK. So that's why I was asking you what's the word on the UK ground about those fights.
Uh, just it's the good fights. The good fights,
Yeah.
if they can get made, aren't they? I guess. Do you know what I mean? But it's up to
Yeah.
promoters, isn't it? And there's all when you want in fights, we're demanding them, aren't we? We scream for them. Right? We make noise about them on social media. Everybody follows it and gives an opinion on Twitter or Insta. They still don't listen to fans, do they, promoters? They just
Only in the
they're always going to do what they think is best for them. But they talk
yeah,
about it, that, yeah, we're going to do it best for fans. It's not. It's always best for them. We don't want to keep seeing rematches signed before they've even had first fight because the fans surely decide if there's a rematch, don't they?
yeah, I mean, my view on a rematch is unless it's something really controversial or it was a really, really, really good fight that was very close, there usually isn't a need for a rematch. And it ties up championship belts, and it actually then becomes a little bit boring. Like if you don't have a particularly good first fight and you're inflicting upon fans a second fight of this with the same participants, you're really undercutting your own product because fans should be clamoring for a rematch. But if fans are going, "Oh, really? Those two guys again?" Like you've damaged your own product because you're selling something people don't want to buy. And so this business of let's do a two-fight deal, like, can you imagine like a two-fight deal, Joshua Fury? Well, we don't even know what the first fight will be like. It could be two geriatrics by the time they get it on, walking around the ring, throwing the occasional jab. Nobody wants to see one of those, let alone two. So, yeah, whereas the Wardley Clark, the first fight, that was a really good banger of a fight. So people would say, "Yeah, let's see it again. That was good." And then the second fight was over really quickly. But, that made sense. But I don't know. If Fury and Joshua take place, it'll probably be signed as a two-fight deal. But that presupposes that fight number one is any good. It may be, it may not be.
Do you think
They
that
might be in
Joshua
wheelchairs.
again? Do you think Joshua against Fury ever happens, Bob?
I think the vast amount of money that will be offered will probably mean that it will happen. Every month that goes by that it doesn't happen, it becomes like it becomes like fish in the refrigerator. It gets stinkier and stinkier. We're already 6 or 7 years past its best before date. Um, I'd like to see it happen now just to draw a line under it, but I'd like to see it one only. And even then, it won't satisfy everybody because people will say, well, in their primes, it would have been different. But if it's going to happen, let it happen soon. Because if we're still talking about this time next year, then my interest in the fight will be that much lower. And uh, I suspect that a lot of serious boxing fans will be already kind of like tired of the noise. You know what I mean? Like Mayweather Pacquiao. By the time it happened, everyone was going, "Oh God, yeah, those guys. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll watch it." But really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. It's nearly as interesting as the scripts being written for Dubois Chisora with Don Charles as the former trainer of Chisora. Uh,
Oh God.
but you couldn't make it up and game plans and all this. And Don knows every move Del Boy makes because he trained him. Yeah, he got sacked by him six
Five
times
or
as
six
well.
times he got fired.
Yeah. So, but that's how they'll sell that. Same as they're trying to sell the Lazy Rhino against Elmer Fudd. They're trying to sell it off the back of Daddy Fudd's intense beef with the Gad. Do you know what I mean? Every time I hear the Gad talk about Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen's first fight, I hear about his beef, his
I
intense
know.
beef with Elmer Fudd's dad, Daddy Fudd.
That's a preposterous story. Big Daddy Fisher is
Big Daddy Fisher.
yeah, it's just what he reminds me of. You remember the wrestler Big Daddy, from Giant Haystacks, Big Daddy
Yeah.
days? Yeah, so Big Daddy Fisher, a man covered by much skin, much of it very thin, appears to be trying to be the social media star, and I'm tired of this nonsense. You've got two fairly average fighters, maybe British level. Um, One fighter won the first fight, but the other guy got the decision, and he's still moaning even though he got the decision. And now they're going to have this rematch. They're friends, then they're not friends. one guy can't be arsed to train, and the other guy has probably reached his ceiling. I don't know. They're both paid too much money for who they are. Yeah, I hope Dave Allen gets a nice paycheck. I hope he wins. But yeah, it's 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 more bullshit, really.
Yeah, it is. Gotta go to part three, Bob.
Yeah, for sure.
Cheers, mate. I'll see you on part three. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Give Bob's channel a follow, Canada's boxing channel, and give Andy's Cavern YouTube a follow if you get chance. Hey, pop, pop, bang.